It is 105 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about Playa Nose, how to avoid it because it's just horrible. You know, it's that playa dust again. It gets up your hooter and it can just make everything feel a bit nasty. The biggest problem is it really dries out your nose, so not only are you dealing with like quite a chapped nose, it feels really dry, which can make breathing a bit painful. The main problem is the environment and dehydration. You can end up with your mucus cells drying out, which is what gives your nose that really like dry feeling inside. So staying hydrated is obviously going to be your best friend, but once it happens, it's very hard to reverse it. One of the ways you can kind of help things along is by having some kind of surgical mask or dust mask that you wear when you sleep. Because when you exhale, that moisture from your breath is going to catch in the mask, so that when you inhale, you're not inhaling really dry air. That moisture is going to be there getting inhaled back in. So it's going to help things not feel quite as dry. Especially, you know, when you wake up and like everything just feels so dried out. Another thing you'll want to do is try and avoid getting too much dust in your sleeping area, because obviously if everything in your sleeping area is covered in dust, you're just going to be inhaling that dust all the time. That's part of why it can help to sleep in some kind of mask. So there are some simple things you can do to try and help keep dust out of your sleeping area. You know, don't have your shoes in there because a lot of dust is just tracked in on people's shoes. And bring some big bags so that when you wake up, you can stuff your sleeping bag, your pillows, things like that into them. And it's going to offer them a bit of protection from the dust that will inevitably get in. If you do end up getting a lot of dust in your sleeping area, then you could just sleep with, you know, a full-on face mask on. And that might be quite good for some of you that are a bit more sensitive breathing-wise. You know, if you have like asthma or you suffer from a dry nose quite a lot. You'll also want a decent dust mask for in the daytime in case you get caught in a dust storm. The only thing is, you know, they are quite bulky, and the best dust mask is the dust mask that you will actually wear. So it is worth bringing along something smaller as well, just in case you decide, you know, this dust mask is just way too bulky for me to drag around. I would rather just have like a bandana that I can tie around my face. And then, you know, at least you've got something. But if you are suffering, it is better to use a proper dust mask. It's best to bring along some stuff that you can kind of help your nose out with. So you probably already have things like chapstick, maybe coconut oil, or some kind of lotion or potion that you're using to stop things getting too dry. A lot of people will just use, you know, whatever they have. They'll use chapstick or Vaseline, coconut oil, and just pop a bit of that up their nose to kind of moisturize it a bit. But you can get things that are specifically designed for using on your nose. So, you know, check out your pharmacy, maybe speak to whoever works there, and just see what kind of product they would suggest for that. You know, nasal sprays, things like that. The neti pot is something that has got a lot more popular. I have never used one, but I am probably going to get one for this year. But it looks like a tiny watering can, and you kind of tip a saline solution or water up your nose, and it goes like in the sinuses and comes out the other nostril, and then you do the same on the other side. And it just basically drags any dust or anything that's in there out, because you know that dust and everything, if it gets into your sinuses, it can be quite painful. If you are going to get a neti pot, I would advise like practicing with it beforehand so that you kind of know how to use it and what it's going to feel like, because I imagine it's a bit of a learning curve and it can just feel a bit weird. Also, I've read some stuff that suggests that, you know, using like just bottled water or tap water isn't so great because you're potentially introducing, you know, bacteria into your sinuses. So whatever you're using for your neti pot, make sure it's something appropriate and it's not something that's going to just make things even worse. Your diet can also help your nose, so those mucus cells that are drying up. Fatty foods, things that have like omega-3 or 6 in them, those can help prevent that. So, you know, bring along some tuna or something with some nice like omega-rich fatty acids in it, and hopefully that will help things out. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Let us know in the comments if you have any other tips or tricks for how to avoid Playa Nose. And if you see me at Burning Man this year, then feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.